My name is Philip Roy Hamilton. I was born in Bristol, Indiana, in a house, they call it the Old Coss Home.
Who do you remember in town? The stores, the people, the businesses? Who do you remember the most? Who comes to mind?
Well, Carl Virgil was one of the first ones that, and I'll tell you a story about him. Carl had, his voice would, when he'd talk, and then at the end of his talk, his last word, he'd go, and I don't know whether it was an inflection or just what it was. But anyway, he was a good one. And then, of course, Pete Bickle had the hardware store. And you couldn't, during the war, you couldn't get BBs. I had a BB gun, but you couldn't get them, but he had them. But he told me, don't you dare tell anybody that I got these, you know, because they were lead. And that wasn't why, but the government had control of us real good at that time. The gas was rationed, meat was rationed, sugar you could get if you had black market sugar, you know. But I was fortunate enough that, you know, we had, my granddad had cows to milk and all that, and had pigs, so we didn't bother us so much. But I remember one in particular, the postmaster, his name was Clem Menges. And he would, back then you get a penny postcard, okay? You get a postcard or letter, but we would always, anybody that sent anything to the post office would put on at the bottom, they'd say, "How you doing, Clem?" or "Hi, Clem," because we knew damn well he read all of them.
What did you do right after you graduated from high school? Where did you go to work?
Well, I started working before I got out of high school. I started at Exo Corporation when I was a senior, and I worked nights. And I done that until it was in September of the year after I graduated, and I got laid off. Man, I tell you, it was something. You couldn't get a job. And I drew $27 a week unemployment, and I had a $90 a month car payment. So I more or less, I had $8 to spend for gas to go look for a job every week. And I finally, after about 6 weeks, I got in over at Adams and Westlake, and I spent 15 years over there then.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your work career. So you were at Adams and Westlake. Where did the majority of your working career, where did you work, and when did you retire?
Well, okay, I started over at Adams and Westlake in 1954. I worked in the relay department for Zach Stutzman, which was a Bristol boy. Well, I went to school with his daughter, Judy. But anyway, then after a while there, I went in the service in 1957. So, but I was able to keep my seniority when I got out. Well, I got out in 59, so in 1967, I went into management as a assistant foreman for Zach Stutzman. And he got real sick, got cancer, and he died, and I took over full foreman. And a couple of years of that, in 69, I decided things weren't going right with me, so I quit, and I went to work for Tom Naquin Chevrolet. And I tell you what, I wish I'd have started earlier than that. I made twice the money, and it was a lot of fun. I left there, though, in a couple of years and went to Peafowl Ford. Had success there. And then I went to Ohio. We won't get into the reasons why and so forth. But I spent some time in Columbus, Ohio. And I come back here in 76 and started at Mark Sills Specialties. Worked there for a couple of years. Quit that, went into sales with Ronnie Wedge, with Wedge Vans. Went on the road in sales. Then I was the lease manager, and then I was the sales manager until another time everything went to pot, you know. Can't remember what after that what I really did do.
When did you meet Ruth?
Well, I met Ruth at Mark Sills Specialties. She had been on a sick leave and all that, and everybody told me, said, "Boy, you wait till this Ruth comes back. You said you'll like her." Well, you know, I did, and her son Steve, I'll tell you what, he has accepted me when he wouldn't have had to have, because his mom and I went together and all that, and they went through a divorce. And,
So now, how long have you and Ruth been married?
25 years.
25 years now. That's
Yeah.
great. That's great.